Hello. So today we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing integers with both positive and negative numbers. So for instance, we're going to be answering some questions like the following. So we've got 4 times negative 5 here. So a positive times a negative. We've got a negative divided by a negative. And at the end of it, we're going to look at what number should multiply to give a negative. But let's get stuck into it. So this is covered in year 8, beginning of year 8 maths in Queensland. So let's see how we go. This is the general rule that I want us to follow with multiplying and dividing integers. So we first ignore the signs and multiply or divide, and then we decide on the sign. So this is the thing I want you to lock in your head. Same signs positive, different signs negative. And it will make sense soon. I've got this little process posted here. And let's try it out. So the first thing, we're going to ignore the signs and just multiply or divide the numbers. So here we've got 4 times negative 5. So that is going to be, we're just going to go 4 times 5 is 20. And what I might do is move this down a bit. So first of all, 4 times 5 is 20. And then we decide on the sign. So we've got here the same signs gives a positive number, different signs gives a negative number. So what do you notice about the signs here? There's a little invisible positive sign and a negative. So we've got different signs. So positive 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Let's try it for the next one. Same process. Multiplying and dividing integers, ignore the signs and multiply or divide the numbers. So just focus on the number itself. 2 times 3, well, that gives me 6. This is annoying here. Whoops. It's all happening. Then we decide on the sign. So we've got a negative number times a negative number. So they are the same signs. So it should just give us a positive number. So we can leave our answer like that. And one more down here, following the same process. Multiplying and dividing integers. Ignore the signs and just multiply or divide. So 4 times 38. I'm just going to chuck that straight in my calculator. 152. Then we need to just check the signs right. So we have a little invisible positive sign there. Negative times a positive, different signs, negative 152. And let's just keep flying through it. I have to bring that down again. Okay. So 81 divide 9. Or 9 times what gives me 81? 9. And then we have the same signs. We've got a negative and negative. Same signs means positive. So your answer can stay like that. You don't need to write the positive sign. Next one. This one, I'll just remove that. 144 divided by 12. In other words, 12 times what number gives me 144? 12 times 12. Then we look at the signs. So we've got 2 negatives here. So negative divided by a negative, different signs. Same signs will give me a positive. So you can just leave it like that. Again, negative 4 times 10, well, what's 4 times 10? That's 40. We've got different signs, so a negative times a positive will get a negative. Different signs give us a negative number. This one, negative 20 times negative 20. Just look at what's 20 times 20. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. And then I think we just put 2 zeros on the end. Then we check out the signs. Same signs, positive. Negative times a negative gives a positive. So lock this bit of information in your mind. Again, negative 10 divide 2. Well, what's 10 divide 2? That's 5. And we've got a negative and a positive will give us a negative number. Different signs, negative. 32 divide negative 16. 32 divide 16 is just 2. Positive divide negative gives a negative. Negative 6 divide negative 2, or what's 6 divide 2 is 3. Negative divide negative, well, that's going to be same signs positive. So leave it at that. Powering through. Negative 60 divide 15. Well, what's 60 divide 15? We can do that. That's 4. Negative divided by a positive, different signs gives negative. 180 divide negative 4. Ignore the signs. 180 divide 4. 45. Positive divided by negative gives a negative. Different signs. Always default to negative. I'm sounding like a broken record. Negative 45 divide negative 5. Well, I'm also already starting to get a feel for it. So the same signs gives a positive number. So 45 divided 5 is 9. Negative 45 divided negative 5 is also 9. Then it gets a little bit trickier here. So maybe, oh no, we'll keep it in this video. Let's check this out. So here it's just a little bit different. So before we were just evaluating the answer here, like that. Now we have to find the missing number. So this gives us a feel for multiplication and division of negative and positive numbers and getting comfortable with these scary little tasks here that students seem to be scared of. But it's fine. So state the missing number. So I've written here, ask what number times 3 gives me 9? What number times 3 gives me 9? Ignoring this sign for now. So I know that 3 times 3 gives me 9. And then we've got this little bit of information locked in our mind. So same signs should give a positive number. Same signs should give positive. Well, we want a negative number, so we're just going to have to make one of these numbers negative. Next one. Something times negative 7 equals 35. Ignore the negatives for now. So you're asking yourself, what number times 7 gives me 35? So knowing your times tables will be handy. And another way you can actually look at it is to go 35 divide 7 if ever you're stuck. But we want to know our times tables. So some number times 7 gives me 35. 5 times 7. Then we need to check the signs. So we know different signs will give us a negative number. But we want a positive number. So we're going to just go give them the same sign, both negatives. Negative times negative gives a positive. And this one? Some number, what number times negative 4 gives negative 28? What number times 4 gives 28? In other words, 28 divided by 4. Okay, so we've got 7. Now we need to look at this bit of information. We want to end up with a negative number. So we should have different signs. So we're all good. We've got a little positive and a negative. Nearly done this skill. And here we go. Negative 3 times what number gives me negative 18? In other words, 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then we check our signs. Negative times a positive gives a negative. Different signs give a negative. And this one, negative 19 times something equals 57. In other words, 57 that's not in our common times tables, is it? So sometimes you have to use these facts of division. 57 divide 19. Ignoring those signs until the end. That gives me 3 in my calculator. And then we've just got to check. To get a positive answer, we are going to need the same signs. So we also need to make that 3 negative. Negative times negative gives a positive. I think we're almost through it. Yeah. State the missing number here. So these are slightly a little bit more tricky, but it's okay. What number, when divided by negative 9, gives me 8? Now, something to remember with this is that with division, the biggest number is always written first, right? You're going to have the biggest number, and these two are going to be your smaller numbers. Just looking with any sort of division facts. And let's even go through this. So let's say, just some division facts, 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Just notice that it's 2 smaller numbers and a bigger number in all these facts. So we could also write like 30 divided by 3 equals 10. So the bigger number always comes first in division. Bigger number always written first if you've got a division table there. So knowing that fact, how do we get a bigger number? We usually multiply. So that's that tip there. We multiply the numbers to get the bigger number. So that's a little fact that can help us with this. So now I'm saying, I can write over here, well, I'm going to multiply the numbers to get that bigger number at the start of the division fact. 8 times 9 is 72. And then we use our little fact over here. Same signs positive, different signs negative. So we want to end up with a positive number. So we are going to need the same signs. And again, with these, we know that our biggest number must come first. And how do I make a big number? I have to multiply. So initially here, I thought that the answer was 7. But if you do this, because 7, 6, and 42 go together. But if you do this in your calculator, 7 divided by 6 is 1 point something. So you have to be careful here. Always telling yourself the biggest number comes first. So 42, I'm going to times the 2 smaller numbers together to get that first number that's being divided. And that gives me, 42 times 6, 252. So really read the question carefully and check your answer at the end. Check it gets the right number. So 252 divided by 6, does that give me a negative? No, we're going to need different signs to get a negative. Okay, nearly done. I think this is the last one. Last slide. 85 divided by some number gives me negative 17. So again, with these division ones, we want to realize that the biggest number comes first, and then there's 2 smaller numbers. It's made up of 2 other smaller numbers that will multiply to give that bigger number. 85 divided by what equals 17? You can actually do this. 85 divides 17. And that's going to give you the other smaller number. And then you check your signs. So we've got positive divided by a positive would give a positive. but we need this number to be negative. And here we are here. So just notice the difference between this slide and this one. We weren't given the divisor, the bigger number here, and we need to find the smaller of the numbers here. All right, so I guess that's something to lock in your mind. Bigger divided by two smaller numbers. Because that's all it is. It's just a mixing up of those multiplication facts. Just like 2 times 8 multiplies to give the bigger number, or 10 times 3 multiplies to give the bigger number. We want two smaller numbers multiplying to give 150. So you can actually just divide them. 150 divided by 5. That will give me the other smaller number. And then what's our little rule? Same signs positive, different signs negative. Well, we want to end up with a positive number. So that's how we get it. And I think, yeah, this is what I want you to take away for that lesson. And I will see you in the next video where we're going to look at adding and subtracting integers. Thank y'all.